Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens Part 177 based on novel. So let's start. A ferocious smile formed on Xiao face as he watched the energy barrier shatter from the sky. He waved his hand down and coldly cried out. After Xiao's cry sounded, the many Do Wangs and Do Huangs, who had been blocked outside, charged forward with a ferocious roar. They charged toward the walls like a storm. Charge! Kalin suddenly grabbed the long sword on her waist as she watched the human figures charging over with a surging desire to slaughter. A vast and mighty Do Chi erupted from her body. She swung her sword forward and a 1,000-foot large sword glow hacked dozens of Do Huangs into two. At the same time, an icy-cold cry was emitted from her mouth. Bang! Numerous figures on the wall rose the moment Kalin's cold cry sounded. They violently collided with the army of strong individuals from the profound lion sect, and the sounds of battle resonated around the sky. Little fairy doctor, I will leave Xiao to you. Guard her well. Kalin's pretty eyes turned to the little fairy doctor by her side. She softly gave an order after taking in the situation of the battle, which had become extremely intense as the forces collided. The little fairy doctor softly sighed and nodded. Mummy, although little Xiao was young, she seemed to have sensed the difference in the atmosphere as she hurriedly hugged Kalin's long leg. She lifted her small face and used her dark black teary eyes to look at her mother. Be obedient, don't be afraid. Mummy will go and look for you in a while. Kalin gently patted little Xiao's head. A doting smile surfaced on her enchanting face. After which, she handed Xiao to the little fairy doctor. A reluctance to part with Xiao flashed across her pretty eyes. However, she clenched her teeth, turned around, and rushed into the air. A majestic Do Chi surged and turned the few fastest expert Do Wangs in front into pools of blood. Xiao, do you dare step forward and fight with this queen? Kalin stood in the empty air. Her icy-cold eyes shot toward Xiao in the distance as she coldly cried out. Ha ha, how can I reject the invitation of a beauty? Xiao laughed aloud upon hearing this offer. The golden blade in his hand danced and formed clusters of sparks. His feet stepped on empty air as he appeared in front of Kalin within a couple of flashes. Both of his eyes were fiery hot as they studied the exceptionally delicate and voluminous figure in front of him. This figure could barely be hid by the tight-fitting red armor. Lust suddenly rose from his lower abdomen. Such an enchanting creature is really rare. It is really too good for this little brat called Xiao Yang. Once I snatch her, such a beauty will belong to me. Kalin did not say any unnecessary words after seeing Xiao accept the battle. Do Chi surged from her body without being held back. The long sword in her hand was bared as her body moved. She appeared beside Xiao with lightning-like speed. The sharp sword struck at different angles and covered all the fatal spots on Xiao's body like a storm. Xiao's expression might appear calm when facing Kalin's body, but his heart had become cautious. Kalin was not weaker than him. Her battle experience was definitely greater than his after a countless number of battles. Hence, he did not dare to underestimate her. The golden blade danced like a windmill and blocked the sharp sword attacks. While Kalin and Xiao were engaged in a big battle in the sky, the area within a 1,000-foot radius of the fortress was filled with chaotic fights. The experts from the Yang Alliance had all charged forward. Both parties clashed and a fiery hot intense battle immediately erupted. During this intense battle between both parties, some experts who accidentally allowed their opponents to grab an opening and kill them. Even some elite Do zones could not protect themselves. Should they be unlucky, they would be surrounded and attacked by over a dozen people, which resulted in them withdrawing from serious injuries. Should one be unlucky, it was not rare for one to be killed on the spot. The 9th Tianzuan was suspended in the sky outside the chaotic battleground. His eyes were indifferent as he watched the battles that continuously erupted. A cold smile surfaced on his body. In his eyes, all the dead people were souls. They would be sucked into the ground by an unusual strength when they died. Even the weak souls did not escape. Fight. The more deaths the better. Ninth Tianzuan laughed in a cold voice. The more dead people, the better it was for the Hall of Souls. After a big battle, they would be able to absorb thousands or even tens of thousands of souls. This kind of speed was many times faster than in the past. Bang! The little fairy doctor was hugging little Xiao Xiao on the wall. Her expression was cold and indifferent as she swung out a poison chi pillar. It struck a profound lion sect's expert, who had charged onto the wall until he spat out black blood and fell. After which, she allowed little Xiao Xiao to hide her eyes against her shoulder. Only then did she raise her head and look around her. Her heart involuntarily sank a little. The Yang Alliance might have had the advantage in terms of terrain, but the quantity and quality of their experts were far inferior to the profound lion sect. Although they were able to block the other party for some time, this could not last for long. At this moment, quite a number of places had been breached by the experts from the profound lion sect. These experts rushed onto the city wall and caused a lot of destruction. If some Yang Alliance experts did not attempt to block the enemy, it was likely that this destruction would have been many times greater. Little fairy Dr. Jie, you should bring little Xiao Xiao and leave. This place will not be able to hold out for long. A soft cry suddenly sounded from beside the little fairy doctor. The little fairy doctor turned her head and found that Qing Lin had spoken. At this moment, Qing Lin had already summoned all the experts that she could control. With the mysterious strength she possessed, this part of the wall was a lot stronger than the other places. You are thinking of leaving? How can it be so easy? Qing Lin's cry had just sounded when a couple of ghost-like figures suddenly rushed over. They remained suspended in the air before letting out a dark laugh. Elite Dozuns. The little fairy doctor knit her brows slightly upon seeing these few figures. The profound lion sect had begun to use these experts. Humph, a couple of Dozuns below 3 stars dare to act presumptuous here. Qing Lin coldly laughed. Her body moved, and she charged forward. The controlled experts shot out at the same time. They charged and surrounded those few Dozuns. Little fairy doctor, leave! Qian Huazunja had also appeared beside the little fairy doctor when Qing Lin had acted to block those elite Dozuns. He spoke in a deep voice while his eyes stared intently into the distance. The large group of Dozuns from the profound lion sect had already begun to join the battle. With the strength of these people, any ordinary defenses were basically useless. Qian Huazunja did not wait for the little fairy doctor after his voice sounded. With a wave of his hand, a couple of figures came rushing down from the wall. They appeared beside him. These were all the elite Dozuns within the Yang Alliance. Although their numbers were far from being comparable to the profound lion sect, they still needed to fight. Charge! Qian Huazunja cried out with a deep voice. His feet pressed into the ground as his body took the lead to charge forward. A couple of elite Dozuns followed close behind him. This little girl possesses an extremely powerful spiritual strength. It is the first time that this old self has seen anyone in possession of such spiritual strength at such an age. The little fairy doctor's eyes dimmed slightly when she saw this scene. She hugged little Xiao Xiao and began to hurriedly pull back. However, she had just withdrawn by 1,000 feet when a dense black fog rushed over. A shady-looking old man rushed out from the fog. He emitted a strange laugh as the chain in his hand ruthlessly shot toward little Xiao Xiao in the little fairy doctor's embrace. Bastard! The little fairy doctor suddenly became furious when she saw that damn old fellow attack a child. She waved her hand and a lethal poisonous dope chi pillar shot out and knocked the chain aside. Her toes pressed on the ground, and she once again pulled back instead of giving chase. Where can you flee to? The little fairy doctor had just pulled back when another black figure arrived with a fierce wind. Sharp wind was released from a palm and ruthlessly slammed toward the little fairy doctor. While this black figure was attacking, that sinister-looking old man once again rushed over. Those two unleashed attacks with their full strengths on both sides of the little fairy doctor, surrounding her in the process. Bang! Xiao Li, catch her! The little fairy doctor's expression changed slightly when faced with the combined attack of two elite 6-star Dozuns. The corner of her eye glazed at Xiao Li, who was a short distance away. She flung her hand and a gentle wind delivered little Xiao Xiao away from her. At the same time, an extremely lethal poisonous do qi surged out of her body in all directions. It received the combined attacks of 2 elite do zuns. A short distance away, Xiao Li had noticed the little fairy doctor was surrounded and attacked. He hurriedly moved when he saw her toss little Xiao Xiao his way. Within a couple of leaps, he had arrived behind little Xiao Xiao. However, a ghost-like figure reached little Xiao Xiao when Xiao Li had just extended his hand to grab her. A sharp wind slammed into Xiao Li's chest with lightning-like speed. The powerful force caused Xiao Li to spit out a mouthful of blood as his body flew backwards. Bastard! Xiao Li's eyes turned blood red when he saw that this fellow was intending to grab little Xiao Xiao after having launched a sneak attack. That skinny old man laughed strangely. After which he turned around and reached toward little Xiao Xiao in the air. Kalin, who was battling Shaen in the distance, immediately turned pale when she saw what was happening. Medusa, surrender quickly. Otherwise, do not blame the old me for being vicious. The skinny old man grabbed little Xiao Xiao's clothes in front of many shocked eyes. He stared at Kalin with a ferocious face, but just as he spoke his final word, a chill suddenly appeared deep within his heart. It had just materialized when an icy hand suddenly appeared around his throat without any forewarning. After which, it ruthlessly clamped down like metal pliers. The sound of bones breaking could be as the old man's neck was broken. The peripheral vision of the old man glanced over just before he died. An unfamiliar black-clothed man with an indifferent expression had unknowingly appeared behind him. The black-clothed man, who had suddenly appeared, randomly tossed aside the old man's corpse. After which, he extended his arm and hugged that little girl, who was using her large dark black to stare at him. A gentle smile was revealed on his indifferent face. Raising his head, he studied Kalin and the others in the distance, whose bodies had suddenly stiffened. With a faint smile, his gentle voice was slowly transmitted into the Kalin's ears. Sorry, I have returned a little late, Xiao Yang? Third brother? Alliance chief? Many people quickly became stunned when they saw the black-clothed young man suddenly appear on the wall. A moment later, a wild joy abruptly surged. Many different forms of addresses suddenly reverberated over the fortress. Although the young man appeared to have matured after a couple of years, his extremely familiar face was still recognized by many people in an instant. Xiao Yang merely grinned when he heard these joyous exclamations. He was just about to speak when his brows were slightly lifted. A figure appeared behind him in a ghost-like fashion. A sharp palm wind ruthlessly slammed toward the Xiao Yang's back. Be careful! The sudden sneak attack caused many people to be shocked, causing many of them to hurriedly warn him. Bang! A muffled sound suddenly appeared when the cry appeared. Everyone's faces became stunned when they saw the expert from the profound lion sect, who was at the Dozun class, fly backwards without any reason. Blood was spat out of that person's mouth. His eyes were filled with shock. He couldn't even see when Xiao Yang had attacked. Xiao Yang did not even turn around as he injured an elite Dozun into vomiting blood and withdrawing. He lifted his head and glanced around, paying attention to where the Yang Alliance was being overwhelmed. He gently waved his hand. Begin the offensive. Bang! An earth-shaking energy undulation suddenly erupted from the air a short distance away after Xiao Yang waved his hand. Rushing sounds, wind sound appeared one after another, and everyone present saw dozens of figures stepping through the air in the sky. They appeared like falling stars as they appeared above the wall within a couple of flashes. Elite Dozuns? The strong individuals from both the Yang Alliance and the Profound Lion sect suddenly inhaled a breath of cool air when these dozens of figures appeared above the wall because they had discovered that this large group consisted of only elite Dozuns. What a frightening lineup! Xiao Ding, Haibodong, and the rest stared at the human figures suspended in the sky with stunned expressions. There were at least 30 people present. In other words, there were at least 30 Dozuns. Such a terrifying lineup could dominate any faction in the northwestern region. This person, it has been a short few years since we last met. Just what level has he reached? Many eyes looked at the black-clothed young man hugging little Xiao Xiao. Some shock surged within their hearts. After which, a joy from having escaped a calamity quietly filled their hearts. They were still clearly aware that the profound lion sect was extremely powerful, but their hearts inexplicably felt safer when they looked at Xiao Yang. Ha ha, everyone, let's attack. Allow us taste just how strong the Dozans of the northwestern part of the continent are. The eldest Hu brother laughed toward the sky. He stepped through empty air and rushed toward the experts from the profound lion sect. The remaining experts behind him also laughed and shot forward. Monstrous Do Chi shook the fortress. Xiao Yang merely smiled at the changing situation. He withdrew his eyes and looked at the girl in his arms. She had been staring at him with her large dark black eyes for a long time. He softly asked, "What is your name?" Xiao Xiao, the little girl stared at Xiao Yang. Although she wasn't familiar with his appearance, a special feeling of being related, which originated from her bloodline, caused her to possess no caution toward Xiao Yang. Her reply was forthright but timid. An unusual feeling surged within Xiao Yang's heart when he saw the cute little Xiao Xiao. He smiled and pinched her little nose before asking, "Do you know who I am?" Little Xiao Xiao seriously stared at Xiao Yang. A moment later, she finally used an extremely soft whisper to reply, "Are you father?" The soft word was transmitted into Xiao Yang's ear, causing his heart to violently tremble. A feeling surged around his body like floodwater. An extremely brilliant and warm smile slowly bloomed on his face. "Good girl. Lad, you are finally willing to return." A joyous loud cry suddenly resounded while Xiao Yang was hugging little Xiao Xiao. He turned his head and watched a man rapidly roll his wheelchair over. Some excitement surged in his heart as he laughed. "Big brother, second brother, how are the both of you?" "You?" Xiao Li's originally dark and cold face was currently filled with joy. He charged over and violently pulled Xiao Yang into a big hug. His hand forcefully patted Xiao Yang's shoulder. "Are you fine?" Xiao Li looked at Xiao Yang in front of him. Even someone as cold as him became involuntarily excited at this moment. He started to laugh. Xiao Yang nodded. Everyone had experienced some changes over these few years. However, the only thing that had difficulty changing was this relationship between brothers. "It's good that you are back. It is still not too late," Xiao Ding studied Xiao Yang, who was momentarily speechless. Xiao Ding smiled as he commented on the situation. "Ha ha, Alliance Chief, you have really performed your role as a hands-off leader very well." Another few figures hurried over while Xiao Yang nodded. The familiar laughter caused Xiao Yang to feel startled. He lifted his head and saw many familiar faces: Ice Emperor Haibodong, Fa Ma, and the Pill King of the Jiomar Empire, Gu He. "Xiao Xiao." A red figure rushed over while Xiao Yang was cupping his hands to these old familiar figures. She pulled Xiao Xiao into her embrace. After which, her pretty eyes continued to sweep over Xiao Xiao's body, afraid of even the slightest mishap occurring to her. Xiao Yang studied this bewitching woman in front of him. She still appeared delicate and voluminous despite wearing tight-fitting red armor. A gentleness also appeared in his eyes as he softly called out, "Kalin." Kalin's lovely figure stiffened when she heard Xiao Yang's voice. She finally lifted her head. Her pretty eyes were somewhat complicated as they stared at the black-clothed young man in front of her. She immediately rubbed little Xiao Xiao's head while she remarked, "I thought that you wouldn't return." Kalin's voice contained some anger while it also hid some grievances. During these years, she, as a woman, had to not only raise this child, she also had to develop the Yang Alliance. She had worried over all these matters, and these burdens had all been left to her by this man. Third brother, sister-in-law has had a hard time during these years. You should not let her down. Otherwise, I and your big brother will be the first to oppose. Xiao Li patted Xiao Yang's shoulder. He spoke in a low tone when he saw Kalin. "That's right. We have Kalin to thank for all these years." Haibodong and the others by the side nodded in agreement. Xiao Yang was quiet. He searched Kalin's tightly curled lips and an apology suddenly surged in his heart. He took 2 steps forward, extended his hand, and gently hugged that soft, delicate snake-like waist. He ignored her struggle and pulled her into an embrace before he softly said, "I'm sorry. It has been hard on you." Even someone as strong as Kalin sensed her nose turning runny when she heard the soft voice beside her ear. Regardless of how strong she acted in the eyes of the public, she was still a woman. Moreover, she was a woman who had settled down. Her heart would inevitably feel some grievances when her man was away for many years, but these grievances suddenly vanished upon hearing these 2 soft sentences. "Do not think that I will let you off because of this." Even though the grievances in her heart had disappeared, the stubborn Kalin still grit her teeth and snapped. Her cold yet pretty face turned a little flush as she freed herself from Xiao Yang's hand. She was an extremely strong person in the eyes of everyone from the Yang alliance. Hence, she was unwilling to be seen in Xiao Yang's embrace like his little woman. "Leave everything else to me." Xiao Yang smiled before gently pinching little Xiao Xiao's small face. He said, "Good daughter, you must follow your mother." "Aye, father, do your best," little Xiao Xiao nodded and spoke in a soft, timid manner. "Be careful. There are many elite Dozans on the other side," Kalin said with some worry. Xiao Yang smiled and stepped into the air. He slowly walked away from the wall while his eyes glanced at the large golden-haired man. That man was gloomily staring at him a short distance away. "You are Xiao Yang? The alliance chief of the Yang alliance?" Shaen stared intently at Xiao Yang. He had watched Xiao Yang hug Kalin earlier, and an intense jealousy rose within his heart. Even though he had yet to take the mysterious Yellow Fortress, he had already thought of Kalin as his. How could he endure her being tainted by others? Xiao Yang acted as though he did not hear Shaen's cold cry. Shaen immediately became furious upon seeing Xiao Yang ignore him. The large blade in his hand suddenly hacked down in a ruthless fashion. 1,000-foot-long blade glow ruthlessly slashed at Xiao Yang's head. "Be careful. He is the sect chief of the Profound Lion sect, an elite 6-star Dozan." Kalin and the others on the wall hurriedly warned Xiao Yang when they saw him ignore Shaen. The golden blade glow ruthlessly struck Xiao Yang's body after everyone's warning. However, the unusually powerful attack failed to force Xiao Yang back even half a step. How is this possible? Shaen was not the only one stunned when he saw this. Even Kalin's group had completely astounded faces. Shaen's attack was something even a 7-star Dozan did not dare to receive head-on without putting up any defenses. Xiao Yang gently flicked his sleeve as his palm was slowly swung toward Shaen. A frighteningly hot wind penetrated through the air and gathered into a large fire hand in front of Shaen with lightning-like speed. It slammed into Shaen's body. As the palm slammed down, the Do-Chi defenses lingering around Shaen's body appeared paper-thin. They were destroyed in an instant, and a frightening wind poured into his body, causing him to spit out a mouthful of fresh blood. The clothes on his body were blasted into ashes while his body transformed into a fireball that violently flew backwards. Finally, he collided with the ground. Hiss! The experts from both the Yang Alliance and the Profound Lion sect suddenly inhaled a deep breath of chilly air. The sect chief of the Profound Lion sect was unable to receive even a strike from Xiao Yang. "Ninth Jianzuan, show yourself." Xiao Yan lifted his head after randomly finishing off Shaen. His eyes locked on the distant black fog, and a faint voice suddenly resounded over the sky like thunder. After this cold cry was made, the black fog that spread over the distant sky fluctuated before scattering apart. A blue figure slowly stepped through the air. Within a couple of flashes, the figure appeared 1,000 feet from Xiao Yang. "I was wondering who it was. It is actually you, a homeless stray. Unexpectedly, you possess the courage to return to this place. In that case, I will also capture you and bring you back with the rest." The ninth Jianzuan's eyes looked at Xiao Yang in a chilly manner as he coldly laughed. "I'm afraid that you do not possess the qualifications." Xiao Yang smiled. If he had met this ninth Jianzuan before entering the heavenly tomb, things might have been a little troublesome. However, just Xiao Yang's current strength was no weaker than his. If they were to exchange blows, Xiao Yang was confident he could force the ninth Jianzuan to remain here forever. Xiao Yang has never feared anyone within the same level. What arrogant words! You really think that you can be haughty with the growth in your strength? Today, I'm afraid that you won't be able to leave this place. The ninth Tianzuan coldly cried out. However, he did not attack immediately. He was no fool. He could tell that Xiao Yang's strength had improved by leaps and bounds because he had seriously injured Shi Qian with just one strike. Hence, he would naturally be a little careful, given his cautious nature. The black fog behind the ninth Tianzuan rippled after his cold voice sounded. 3 figures immediately rushed over and stood beside the ninth Tianzuan. Their sinister eyes swept over Xiao Yang as they laughed in a strange manner. It is actually this brat. It is rumored that our Hall of Souls has failed many times to capture him. Why don't we act together and capture him? We will be given great credit if we can bring this brat back. Kalin and the others on the wall were startled when they saw the sudden appearance of these people. They could sense the frightening auras of these 4 people. Xiao Yang's eyes swept over the 3 black-robed old men who had suddenly appeared. These 3 were clearly experts from the Hall of Souls. Their strengths were also around that of an 8-star Dozan. Thus, they were relatively strong. It seemed that these were the 4 8-star Dozan experts mentioned in the information Xiao Yang had obtained. Ha ha, those from the Hall of Souls always like to do such things. A loud laugh was transmitted from behind Xiao Yang when the 3 black-robed old men appeared. They were the 3 Hu elders who Yao Lao had hired. Due to the frightening lineup that Xiao Yang had brought with him, the Yang Alliance had already stabilized the situation. Those enemy experts who had charged onto the wall had been eliminated. The remaining individuals from the Profound Lion sect had lost a great amount of their vigor from earlier because of the sudden appearance of these dozens of elite Dozans. They did not dare to randomly charge over at the moment. The 3 Hu elders managed to find the time to come to Xiao Yang's aid after stabilizing the situation. The 3 of them were quite well known in the Central Plains region. Hence, they were not afraid of the Hall of Souls, so their tones were a little rude. 3 Hu elders? It is unexpected that you old farts who refuse to die have also come. Looks like you have really lived too long. Even your brains are deluded. The expression of the ninth Tianzuan in the sky sank when he saw the 3 Hu elders. He immediately let out a cold laugh. From the looks of it, he had clearly heard of the Hu elders. Ha ha, other people might be afraid of your Hall of Souls, but we are not. This world is so huge. Do you really think that your Hall of Souls can dominate it? The eldest Hu brother curled his mouth. He did not pay heed to this threat from the ninth Tianzuan. Junior Pavilion Chief, this noisy old fellow will be left to you. The 3 of us will take care of the 3 others. What do you say? Xiao Yang slightly smiled and immediately nodded upon hearing the words of the eldest Hu brother. The 3 Hu elders were also 8-star Dozans. It would not be a problem for them to deal with 3 experts of similar strength. Ha ha, in that case, let's see who will be able to finish off their opponent first, the oldest Hu brother loudly laughed. Do Chi surged out of his body in all directions. The second and third Hu brothers followed close behind. After which, they separated and rushed to attack the other 2 black-robed elders. HMPH, since all of you wish to deliver yourself to us, we shall accept your offers. Those 3 black-robed elders chuckled in a sinister tone when they saw the 3 old Hu brothers rushing over. Dark fog surged out of their bodies as they moved, transforming into 3 black balls of smoke that heavily collided with the Hu brothers. Immediately, frightening energy fluctuations swiftly expanded. The ninth Tianzuan frowned when he saw the 6 individuals engage in a fight within an instant. He had not expected Xiao Yang to bring so many experts from the Central Plains. Our mission this time around is to capture all the members of the Xiao clan. Looks like we must first deal with this person today. A glint flashed over the ninth Tianzuan's eyes before a ferocious glow appeared in them. He clenched his hand without any unnecessary words and dark chilly air swiftly gathered. It finally turned into a layer of black crystals that covered his right hand. At the same time, his foot stepped through empty air and his body disappeared in a strange manner in front of many gazes. What swift speed! The faces of the Yang Alliance experts on the wall became anxious when they saw the ninth Tianzuan disappearing in a flash. Such speed is still insufficient. Xiao Yang in the sky merely shook his head. He waved his hand to strike the empty space beside him with lightning-like speed. An illusory figure immediately appeared from the spot where the wind from his palm reached. A dark and chilly palm violently clashed with Xiao Yang's hand. Bang! A wind containing a dark chill mixed with a strong heat before erupting from the point of contact as both palms clashed. Space itself was shaken until it became distorted. 8-star Dozun? The powerful wind erupted and the ninth Tianzuan's body appeared, but his expression changed because of the hot and cold forces that were erupting around his arm like floodwater. A groan was emitted from his throat as he was forced back over a dozen steps. Shock immediately surged onto his face. After an initial exchange, he had suddenly realized that the current Xiao Yang had reached the 8th star of the Dozun class. The ninth Tianzuan clearly remembered when he met with Xiao Yang half a year ago. Back then, Xiao Yang had just reached the 5th star. Although he had sensed that Xiao Yang's aura had soared, he had not expected this great increase to reach such a terrifying extent. The experts of the Yang Alliance on the wall erupted into a cheer when they saw Xiao Yang had obtained the upper hand in a head-on clash with the ninth Tianzuan. A shock that could not be hidden also appeared in their eyes. By being able to force the ninth Tianzuan, who was an 8-star Dozun, back, the strength of the current Xiao Yang must have reached that of an 8-star Dozun. Xiao Yang had only just reached the Do Huang class when he left back then. It has only been a few short years, yet his strength has soared to such an extent. We have no choice but to admire him. Hai Buodong and the rest faced each other. He helplessly sighed a moment later. During these years, he had relied on the medicinal pills accumulated by the Yang Alliance to break through to the Dozong class after experiencing much difficulty. Originally, he thought that he was fairly quick, but there was no way for them to even compare with Xiao Yang. It has been over half a year since we last met, yet you have not even improved a little. Xiao Yang shook his head when he saw the ninth Tianzuan's shock. Xiao Yang's strength had reached the peak of an 8-star Dozun. The ninth Tianzuan was now a little weaker than Xiao Yang. Back then, Xiao Yang had already been able to engage the ninth Tianzuan in an intense battle with just the strength of a 5-star Dozun. Now, this so-called ninth Tianzuan no longer posed even the slightest threat to him. Brat, it is still too early for you to be pleased. The ninth Tianzuan's face immediately turned a little green when he heard Xiao Yang's words. A seal was formed by his hand with lightning-like speed as a muffled cry was emitted from his throat. The dark chilly air around them swiftly gathered into many thousand-foot-tall energy palms after this cry sounded. Palm wind whistled and furiously struck at Xiao Yang from all directions. Faced with the ninth Tianzuan's powerful attack, Xiao Yang stepped through empty space and acted like he was taking a leisurely stroll. Many afterimages appeared, causing the many large energy palms to miss. Some of the large energy palms that could not be dodged were forcefully shattered with a flick of Xiao Yang's wrist. Xiao Yang stepped through empty air in front of the countless number of gazes present. He stepped closer and closer to the ninth Tianzuan. Regardless of how the red-faced ninth Tianzuan tried to block Xiao Yang, he was unable to cause Xiao Yang to pause for even a moment. Watching this battle, everyone understood that Xiao Yang's strength had far surpassed the ninth Tianzuan's strength. Bang! A purple-brown flame rose in Xiao Yang's hand and forcefully shattered an enormous energy palm that was approaching his body before his footsteps finally came to a stop. He lifted his head and looked at the ninth Tianzuan, whose expression was a little pale. A faint smile appeared. They were both 8-star Dozuns, but Xiao Yang's strength had surpassed him by many times. Adding the ancient insect emperor cloth and the dragon phoenix ancient armor, the ninth Tianzuan's attacks were no longer able to harm him. This battle, which was on a completely different level, did not have any meaning from the beginning. He is not just at the 8th star. He is at the peak of the 8th star. This person is improving at an impossibly rapid pace. I can no longer match him. Regardless of how ugly the ninth Tianzuan's expression was when he watched Xiao Yang shatter his attacks, he had to admit that his current strength was no match for Xiao Yang. He decisively clenched his teeth and stomped a foot on empty air, causing his body to suddenly withdraw. Since you are already here, why do you need to leave? Xiao Yang grinned after seeing the ninth gentleman flee. Xiao Yang's body slowly disappeared, and he was already behind ninth gentleman when he appeared. His right hand gently slapped the empty air, and a cluster of black light swiftly spread while accompanied by a faint destructive aura. The ninth gentleman's expression suddenly became pale as he sensed the annihilation aura that spread over with lightning-like speed. With Xiao Yang's current strength, unleashing a Qian-class Do skill like the Great Heaven Creation Palm was like the sickle of a death god for the ninth gentleman. The ninth gentleman suddenly lowered his head while his heart was covered with an aura of death. He looked at the ground below and his voice sharply cried out. Fourth brother, save me. This video will end here.